Hey listeners, Hit the Books podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, and more. Be sure to tune in each week and like, rate, and subscribe.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Season 2, Episode 27 of Hit the Books, the sports gambling podcast that gives you the best tips and tricks to beat the odds. Lots of good stuff from the boys recently from our daily cards. More on that soon. This week is a heavy week for the NHL. The trade deadline is happening this week, this Friday, so there are more trades than I can read, and we will review some of them here. The NBA is moving right along, and we want to go over who's taking over the league as of lately. Lots of more fun and intriguing content coming in the next few weeks, so make sure to tune in. Let's jump in and introduce my co-hosts for this week's episode, Huff, Ace, and Mackie. Mackie, let's start off with you this week. What's happening, buddy? Nice to see you here this week.
Yeah, what's going on, boys? Another week back in the pod, doing what we love. Had a few rough days recently. College basketball card went 1-4 yesterday. First big losing day we've had in a while. It's still sitting at right around plus 20 units. So all the cards are still doing well. We're sitting in plus in all of them, plus double units in NHL and college basketball. NBA is going to get there soon. Season's dwindling down, getting ready for playoffs. That's when we really lock in. So best is yet to come. We'll just keep rolling with us, and we're just doing what we want, what we're doing.
You said it good, Mackie. Not much more to say there. Ace, let's shoot it over to you next. Another week on the pod, like Mackie said. What do you got for us?
Yeah, like Mackie said, we're just going to keep on keeping on those daily cards. I mean, we've got so many plus units there. I think we had a tweet out the other day about if you tailed all of our daily card picks for these three sports that we've been ripping, you'd be up above 35 units or something like that. So definitely want to keep those numbers up. I think our quest is to get to 50. And my Bruins helping us last night with a come-from-behind thriller. 2 games in a row. They've been winning. Sure, we'll get in some talk about that. So I'm riding high still on that. And the rest of the leagues are heating up, and it's March time now. So I'm locked in on college basketball too. So I'll definitely be ready to tail those picks and hear what the boys have to say. Ready to go again this week.
Yes, the quest to plus 50 units is on. It seems like this month of March here, this March Madness is the prime time to do so. So make sure you keep up on those cards like the boys have been saying. All right, Huff, let's shoot it over to you last. What do you got for us this week? Another week here. Nothing else from me. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, like everyone said, not much going on with me. We had some great success last week on the cards. After, I think me and Mackie last week, we were talking about we wanted to get to 25 units by the end of the season. And after last night, we're not over 25 units anymore, but we were up to 26 at one point. NBA's been sitting right around 9. And finally got the NHL card back up to double digits. So anytime we got success on the books, I know we've had a cold couple of days, the past couple of days, but anytime we got success on the books, it's a good week. So other than that, not much going on. Excited to be back. March 1st, it's about time. March Madness right around the corner, about 2 weeks. We got the conference tournaments coming up. It's going to be a great next couple of weeks.
Yes, March Madness right around the corner. Super excited for that. But not without the NHL Trade Deadline happening here this Friday. We'll jump into that here shortly. But first, let's jump into some news in the NFL. A couple little points here. An arrest warrant has been issued for Georgia defense tackle and potential number 1 overall pick, Jalen Carter. Carter has been accused of reckless driving and racing, resulting in a crash. This incident stems from the January 15th incident that ended the life of former teammate and staff member. What do we think here, guys? Could this affect his draft stock coming into the, now that the combine's happening? I believe he spoke today. I didn't get any quotes or anything on that, but what do we think?
I think it definitely will. I mean, anything you see something like this with a lottery pick, it definitely messes with their draft stock. And this is a guy who I saw he was projected 4th in the mock draft, but a lot of people thought he was going to go 1st overall to Bears have it, right? Yeah, to the Bears. because they don't want a quarterback. So that's a good spot for them. That's a good spot for him. But after all this, I don't really know. I don't really know much about the situation, Huff. I know you know a little more than I do. But, I mean, in terms of, like, affecting his draft stock, I think it's definitely going to be a big problem for him down the road.
I mean, basically, yeah, but I'm right there with you. But basically what I found out upon it, I got the headline this morning, and I looked into it briefly. Probably not enough to give a full opinion on it, but like I said, I saw he's being accused of being a part of the car crash, the accident, whatever it was that killed the other teammate and the staff member of the Georgia football team. I think it was like right around January 15th. I believe Jesse said it, but he's being accused of that, and then I think he fled the scene or left the scene. I could be wrong on that, but I mean, as like you said, a top 3 projected overall pick, and the talent we've seen come out of Georgia, we obviously saw him have a successful year last year, and him declaring for the NFL draft, it was looking like all, up and up for him. And this kind of news breaks in mid-January, or as we hit now March, heading into the combine. He's speaking at the combine about legal issues instead of football. That's never a look you want headed into the NFL draft.
Yeah, Huff. Like you said, not a good look there. And just on the heels of that story we had last week about the college basketball players out of Alabama, so some tough things to hear about for some young prospects coming about. I was just reading up on it after I heard about that news, and that's a pretty tough scene there. Allegedly being alongside the crash, leaving the scene, and now misleading the police, and now it's being brought back up. So not something I like to hear. Definitely going to hurt his draft stock. I know he didn't work out at the combine, but he didn't do those interviews. So got to see how this folds out and where he ends up in the draft, who's willing to take a chance on him. Hopefully he can get that settled and clean up his act a bit. Definitely not something you like to hear around a great time for young athletes.
I didn't know the thing about he misled the police. What'd they say about that, or do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I was reading that. It said he was like misleading them, as in when they questioned him earlier, he said that he was miles away from it. He had no clue, but now it's arising that he was the car right next to him when the crash happened and then fled the scene.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Obviously, just like we said last week with the Brandon Miller thing, and like you said, you mentioned that. I think this is a very developing story. Is similar to when we were talking about Brandon Miller last week. This is on my TV right behind me. SportsCenter just can't get enough of this story right now. So I think this is something you'll see it kind of unfold throughout the rest of the week. Obviously, with the combine, this is going to be ESPN's top story. They're all over right now, and a top 4 pick. I mean, it has to be, right? I mean, arguably one of the best Georgia defensive players. Like, he could go. We haven't seen a Georgia defensive player go this high in how long? And they're known for their defense. I just feel like they always get studs.
Championship?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got the championship pedigree too. It'll be interesting to see how this folds out. I mean, I'm sure we'll get much more news before the draft even happens, which is good for an NFL team. At least you have it sorted out before going into the year.
Also, I'm an idiot. I was saying, when's the last time we've seen a Georgia defensive player go this high? Last year, Trayvon Walker. I'm an idiot. Just forget I said that whole thing.
Yeah, I said that, but my mic is muted, and then you just didn't answer, so I thought I said something wrong, but then I realized my mic is muted. So
I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, there's been someone. And then I'm like, last year, Trayvon Walker, yeah. It would. I mean, if it's going to happen, it would be after a national championship.
Yeah, exactly. That obviously with that defense too, so.
Yeah, little mind skip right there. Totally just forgot about Trayvon Walker, but he didn't have that great of a rookie year, so I don't know if I'm really going to need to be remembering his name much more. Give me a reason to remember your name. How about that?
Very interesting there. I guess we'll see what happens with him come next few weeks and such here. All right, next point I got here out of the NFL. The Packers GM Brian Gutekunst said that he has not spoken to quarterback Aaron Rodgers other than a few brief text message conversations. The Packers are remaining open on who will be their starting quarterback in 2023. What do we think, boys? Do we think Rodgers has played his last game in the green and gold? I don't know what to think. Ace, why don't you start us off on this one?
I'll give you a very quick answer. No, he did not play his last game in the green and gold. I know that he likes to be in the news, kind of like Tom Brady, with like where he's going to be and what he's thinking, and everybody has Aaron Rodgers on the top of their minds. That way, remember that he's relevant. Still a great quarterback, but I think he's going to be in Green Bay. Nowhere else is really going to put up with these antics, and you've built that career there so long. I mean, you're going to walk into a tough situation wherever you go with that team. And they started to turn out at the end of the year. That second half of the season for the Green Bay Packers was pretty solid, in my opinion. And those rookie wide receivers they drafted for him, he used to like to say they didn't give him any help. They were starting to come on the scene. We saw Christian Watson turn up. We saw Romeo Doubs show out a bit. And they gave Aaron Jones that deal. I know they say that people took his boy and Devontae Adams, but Aaron Jones is another guy he likes to have. And that defense will be coming back stronger. I think in a weak division up there in the NFC North, why not come back? I mean, it's your home. They let you do whatever you want, and you have a chance to win in and year out, especially with that fraudulent Vikings team. So, you hear what you guys had to say about this Rodgers situation.
I don't really want to speak on this because I don't really know. I really have no idea. I mean, we've seen this go so many different ways multiple times. Aaron Rodgers is a weirdo too, so I could actually just see him hanging it up. But I think since Tom Brady did that, I think he wants his own spotlight for next year, so I think he'll play another year. And like Ace alluded to, that team was good at the end of the season. They just missed the playoffs just by couldn't get it done in week 18, I guess it is now. But you could definitely see him come back and run it back with those young wide receivers who he has some faith in now. Him and Christian Watson got something really going towards the end of that season. First few games, I know that he was what's the word I'm looking for?
He was new to the offense and banged up a bit too.
Yeah, and it was just he was scared to drop a ball, and that makes you more prone to drop a ball when you have all the nerves going. And I think once he actually got it going, and him and Aaron Rodgers got that relationship going, they had a really good connection. And why not come back for another year and just run that back, see what they can do in that, and like you said, a weak division.
You remember how many times we all hit that Christian Watson anytime touchdown bet throughout the year on the card? I mean, that was
dude. It was juiced.
With the price on it, it was crazy.
It was plus 290, most of the season.
He
had to be one of the most profitable anytime touchdown scorers, and it's not because he scored all the time. It's because his odds were consistent enough for how many times he scored. It was the value there every time. But I mean, my take, I'm kind of starting to agree with what Ace said. I think if he comes back, I think it is going to be in a Packer uniform. I don't know. I think all these big name stories, I mean, it'd be fun to see him go to the Jets and see if he can save the Jets, or go to the Raiders and link back up with Devontae Adams and see what he could do with that Vegas team. But I mean, the Packers aren't that far off. That division isn't that great. I mean, the Lions are they're on the up and coming. The Lions are gonna be a good team next year. I think the Lions are a playoff team next year. I mean, if they play the same football they are, but that division is kind of similar to the NFC South. It's kind of wide open. I know the Vikings had a pretty good year last year, but they're another team that's pretty inconsistent. They haven't really shown to put it together year in and year out. And I mean, a couple injuries, that Vikings team, I'm just not too big on them. I didn't really like them to go too far last year. But I mean, I think if Rodgers comes back, I think it is going to be for the Packers. I'm starting to agree with that take. But I just think that all the storylines that the ESPN and all these other big name media companies are biting off, Rodgers to the Jets, Rodgers here, Rodgers there. I just think when you've been with a system for that long, like Ace said, I think that's where you want to stay and just run it back one more year. I know he has a good relationship with Matt LaFleur, and I know things have gotten rocky with the Packers front office and him, but I mean, he's playing football. They're up in the front office. All that really matters, he has a good relationship with the head coach, in my opinion.
Yeah, Huff, that's a good point there. I have two more on this subject before we switch it over, but like you said, as a veteran guy, you don't want to go somewhere brand new. And even if he was looking into all of that, wouldn't you think he wouldn't be on a retreat finding himself? He would actually be looking for his next opportunity. Mackie, let me hear you.
What about Tom Brady? He did it 3 years ago and won a championship.
Tom Brady's a different story.
I know it. I know what you're saying. It is Tom Brady, but that's literally exactly what he did.
Well, Brady left a tougher division to go to a weaker one also. I mean, look at the places that Rodgers could go. We're hearing links to Vegas. What, do you want to go play Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert? And now the Broncos are a formidable team. What, do you want to go Josh Allen and those up-and-coming Dolphins, Bill Belichick, and the Jets? I mean, that's tough spots to go to. I mean, not only is that division wide open, like Huff was saying, that whole conference is wide open. Think about the end of the year. Didn't they play that Eagles team tight in the link? I mean, they can go toe-to-toe with any team, especially with Rodgers at the helm and a healthier roster. I see no reason not to go back. And I don't think they have a plan B if he doesn't. I think everybody's assuming he's going to be there. And I'm going to make it an assumption that he is. I know what they say about assuming, but I'm going to assume that Packers are going to get Aaron Rodgers back.
Yeah, I think that's his best bet. Like you said, those teams that he's linked to going to are just not a good spot for him to win a division and go make a deep playoff run. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what he does.
Like I said last week, if I'm a free agent quarterback, the only division I'm even considering going anywhere is the NFC South. Just give me the NFC South.
Huff, what about this real quick? The NFC West. It's an interesting division.
49ers,
Do any of
Seahawks,
them? Do any of those teams have their long-term answer at quarterback?
No.
No, but that division has gone from the most powerhouse division to like there's just only one team now.
I mean, the Seahawks are on the up. I mean, that defense, and then you got you got to believe the Rams will be back a bit with McVay and everything. They had the biggest Super Bowl hangover I've ever seen. And the Niners are the Niners, and then the Cardinals. I don't really understand what's going on with Kyler Murray and them. So I think that's a wild card division for someone to go to and take over.
I think the team out of those that obviously I would want to go to if I'm a quarterback, definitely number one is the Niners. But other than the Niners, for all the given reasons, out of the other three kind of mini dumpster fires, I guess you'd say, I'd definitely go to Seattle. And that's not even just because I kind of am a fan of them. I think they're the most young and up and coming out of the Rams and Cardinals and Seahawks.
Playing in that Sean McVay offense really wouldn't be that terrible either. You have Aaron Donald on the other side of the ball. You have some names on every side. You get Cooper Kupp back and good old line, good coach. I mean, there's not bad fits out there, and I just want to see someone take over and see who really takes that division. I know the Niners kind of own it, but not from a quarterback sense. I mean, not really anybody.
No, it's just defensive. But I also think Geno Smith's staying in Seattle.
Oh no! That's what I was gonna say.
How many more years? Though?
Didn't they say that they're gonna try to draft a quarterback?
I heard they're like eyeing, or they think they're gonna draft Will Levis from Kentucky.
Yeah, you're gonna. I mean, why would you sit Will Levis for? Is that
Geno your quarterback Smith? Of the future? We'll have to see that.
Well, no,
in a
you
years,
can let him sit for a year. I mean, it worked out for the Chiefs.
But it's not
Mahomes.
Yeah. But behind I don't know, that team was good with who was it, Alex Smith?
Alex Smith, yeah.
Yeah, they were like 13-3 the year before. Seahawks were supposed to, they barely made a wild card game.
Yeah, why wouldn't you draft a QB then? I think that's in their long term plans, and it has been the whole year. They overachieved a lot this year.
No, I'm saying that they're just not going to roll with Geno next year. I don't think.
I bet you he gets the start, and then whoever they draft is going to.
You could if they draft someone, you could see them by the end of the season if the results aren't there for Geno. But I think Geno's the starter going into next year.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I don't know.
What's interesting is how much longer is on Geno's contract. That's something I wish I knew right now.
I also don't think that.
I think he's a free agent. Ace.
One more year.
I don't think LA would take Aaron Rodgers for Matt Stafford right now. Like they would do all that to get him.
Is Matt Stafford even going to play football again?
Why wouldn't he?
Messed up his shoulder. That's the same one that ended Roethlisberger's career. I know that Dak came back from it, but at an older age for a less mobile quarterback. Stafford made a career off his arm strength, no?
Yeah, and Calvin Johnson too.
Yeah, and Cooper Kupp. That's how he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but
that's why
Calvin
Cooper
Johnson
Kupp got the
MVP. Calvin Johnson got his stats padded those first few years.
Yeah, but still, that strong arm. I'm eager to see how he comes back. I think eager to see where Baker Mayfield goes. A lot of these names are bouncing around, and as it gets closer to the draft and past the draft in this offseason, we'll get to see that QB carousel continue to move along.
Here's the official statement from Pete Carroll today. Smith is a pending free agent, and though Seattle and Smith are working on a contract extension, Carroll did not eliminate the possibility of taking a quarterback in the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft.
Yeah, that's the thing that my boy sent me earlier, and I really don't. That shows no signs of that you want him back.
I bet you they could sign Geno Smith back if the price is cheap and nobody else goes after him with a big deal, and they draft a quarterback. That would be their favorite scenario, I think.
Yeah, they get Geno back on a $5 million deal, and you get a first-round quarterback on a rookie deal. That's a genius move.
Yep, give Geno that 1-year deal as a starter. Let him run it back with his boys. And
he earned it. I mean, technically, he was a Pro Bowler last year. I know that doesn't really mean anything anymore, but.
But the thing is, with the way that the QB carousel, I keep using that word, but it's such it really is. With the way it's going around, Geno Smith could get a big contract from one of these teams that's in need, and I could see him in the NFC South. You could see him in a Ravens jersey if things don't work out. Jets bring him back. A lot of different scenarios all around the board. So, I don't think they'll get him back, but ideally, I think they would on that short-term low deal and draft one. But I think they draft one either way. That's their long-term plan. They have a young team. That's what the Seahawks are going to roll with. But like I said, we have to keep our eyes on all these situations as they unfold. There's one domino. It's a domino effect all around the league.
Yes, lots to take care of here in the NFL here this offseason. I feel like we're going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers every week, especially these few weeks coming up and such, but lots to look forward to in the NFL. Let's shift our focus over to the NHL. We got a whole ball of wax to unwrap. Let's start it off here quick with Linus Ullmark scoring the first goalie goal in Boston Bruins history, 13th goalie goal of all time. Ullmark is also the first goalie to 30 wins this season, also happening in that same game. Great mark for him. That's cool as hell, honestly. Can't say many have done that, right? 13. Ace, got anything to say on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's just another feather in the cap of Linus Ullmark's Vezina season this year. I mean, 30 wins, fastest to it, puts a goal in. That's a cherry on top. Obviously, it doesn't really go into a Vezina account, but great feat for him, and he'll be remembered for that forever. But I think really when you look back 5-10 years from now and you say, hey, how did Linus Ullmark win that Vezina? And you can say, some will say that, 30th win and he put a goal in. But really, if you watched the Bruins last night when we cashed on that money line play, it was the 51 save performance on the road of a back-to-back night, willing his team to an overtime victory, showcasing that even when they don't play elite in front of him, he can get the job done. I mean, by far best goalie in the NHL this year. Mackie, let me hear what you have to say about that fellow goaltender.
Yeah, like you said, what are they going to look back and see a 51% performance from last night? But to be honest, I think it's more the fact that he's 31-4-1 with an under 2 goals against average and the best save percentage in the league. There's just nothing bad to say about this guy. We saw it firsthand last night. They got outshot 52-15, whatever it was, and they won 4-3 in overtime. Guy stood on his head all game, and that goal is honestly just capping off his incredible season that he's having. I do think it's gonna be his only season that is like this. I think it's definitely the peak of his career, but he's taking everything he can with this season, and he's just doing everything possible that he's done right. And this guy's just incredible this year. The Bruins are talking about dealing this guy at the deadline. It's just crazy.
No, that's fake reporters that don't have anything to talk about.
Nothing bad to say about this guy though. Absolutely incredible what he's done this season.
Like you were saying, Mackie, peaking and whatnot. I mean, obviously, I hope not as a Bruins fan. But one thing you can really tell is how confident he's playing, and that's such an important part of the game. We've talked about it before when we were talking about Eichel going to Vegas. But he's on top of everything last night. I don't know if you were watching that game. He mishandled the puck, literally trying to shoot it down for another goal or something. And he comes out atop of his crease and makes 2 back-to-back saves and 3-3 late in the third after being peppered for 40+. I mean, he's feeling it right now, and he's firing on all cylinders. So great to see it. My futures bet of him winning the Vezina plus 170, I think I got it at a few months ago, is looking really good right now. And one crazy thing is a lot of my Rangers buddies like to say, like Mackie, that they think the Cup's coming home, which is a jinx. You've never heard me say that. But they like to say Igor Shesterkin is that X factor in the series. He's that goalie. And then they like to allude to his Vezina campaign. Well, we might have another one unfolding in front of our eyes. And at that point, I think Ullmark and Igor are really at that same level. So if we look at it, I'm going with that Bruins depth. And I really hope we get that Eastern Conference Finals between Boston and New York.
Dude, that Eastern Conference Finals would be one for the ages, 100%. But we haven't won a cup since '94. Me saying that is not jinxing anything. There's a lot. If that's the thing that holds us back from a Stanley Cup this year, then I don't know. But I am really hoping for a Bruins Rangers Eastern Conference Finals matchup. That'd be pretty elite.
Oh, we have a lot of other trades to get underway, as Jesse alluded to. And it's really going to talk about this Eastern Conference as a whole. I mean, it's going to be a beast. These playoffs, I really can't wait. I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm like, is it coming yet? I know you guys got March Madness, but these NHL playoffs, especially the Eastern Conference, is going to be insane. I'm predicting a lot of Game 7s, a lot of high-scoring matchups. You know we'll have great picks on the card for it.
Yes, guys, good stuff there for the first point there in the NHL. The next one I got here is that Tage Thompson scored his 40th goal of the season in a 7-4 win against the Capitals on Sunday to join Skinner, 40 in 2018-2019, and Thomas Vanek, 43 in 2026 and 40 in 2028 or 2008-2009 as the only Sabre player to hit the mark in a season in the past 20 years. So good mark there for Thompson. Young dude, Anything on that?
Tage Thompson really flying onto the scene this year. I think guys who have been watching the Sabres a bit, we see him a lot with the Bruins, knew that this was coming, but to expect him to put 40+ up in his breakout year is pretty crazy, and he's going to be there for years to come. He's got that quick release, and he's going to be willing that young Buffalo team to a playoff run within the next few years, I think. So, love to see that for him. Exciting player to watch.
Yeah, basically on the same page as you. This is a pure definition of how you develop a hockey player. A lot of people don't realize that he's 26 years old and he got drafted 8 years ago. The Sabres, they've been developing him for a really long time, and he just gotten to the point where he's gotten his confidence and everything, and he's tearing up the NHL right now. He's obviously one of the best goal scorers in the league, and everyone just like, he came out of nowhere, but this is a pure development of a player, and the Sabres did it the right way.
He's so big and so skilled. I mean, it's tough to stop him. We see him do it against the best teams night in and night out. He makes Vasilevsky look crazy, so you really know that it's no fluke this year.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. Could you imagine if Eichel is still on that team? I think he is too.
Because, dude, I'd rather be on that Sabres team in the next 3 years than that Vegas team, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that
Jack
Vegas
Eichel
team
doesn't strike me as a guy that wants to be in Buffalo, though. I think he likes Vegas.
Yeah, for his personality aspect, but we're just talking hockey-wise.
On the ice, yeah. This Buffalo team is definitely on the up and up more than that Vegas team. I think that Vegas team has maybe a year or two left in them, and then we'll see what happens as they kind of start to age out. But
bro, they can make it this year.
Like
They have a good chance of making it this year, especially the run that they on.
Oh, I know. I think if they get Logan Thompson back and he's able to come back and step right into that lineup, I'd like Vegas to go far in the playoffs. But back to Buffalo, I think Tage, what he's done for that team in such a short amount of time has kind of shown what he's capable of in the NHL, and I'm excited to see him kind of stay up and continue to have successful years with them. It's obviously another team in the East that's on the up and coming, and we'll have to see what they're capable of over the next couple of years. I think he's definitely going to keep the success rolling.
Good stuff there, guys. I think it's time to jump in some of these trades that have been happening for the NHL Trade Deadline. Again, happening this Friday, March 3rd. Tons of action happening around the league. The first one I got here is that the New Jersey Devils have acquired forward Timo Meier plus 4 more players in a 2025 fifth-round pick in exchange for 3 picks and 4 players. Plus, I don't even know what I don't know why it says plus. Picks and 4 players. Does this put them in the upper echelon of the East as a legitimate contender? And what do we think about San Jose's return on this one?
I'm not big on this Devils team, Mackie. You're probably going to be the one that has to play them in the first round, and obviously getting the guy that we're going to talk about next. I think your Rangers are looking pretty good, but definitely a move that the Devils needed to make. I think this gets them another scorer on the top 2 lines and the top 6 that they're able to throw in, but I think it's a good move. I'm just not necessarily scared of this Devils team personally. I think they're a little too young, and I think they're building more for the future, but definitely a scary move. If you're a Rangers fan, this guy you're going to have to see maybe in the first round.
Yeah, both these teams, the Rangers and Devils, are just suiting up for that first round matchup. It's almost inevitable at this point. I don't know. I don't overlook this Devils team just because everyone else does, and I feel like, I don't know, the Rangers can't look past the next round just because they were in it last year. Like, the league is, Devils are good. They're definitely rolling right now, and you have to play them in the Garden. They're one of the best teams on the road. So I'm not really looking past this team, but I do think the inexperience on this team is going to be a big problem when it comes to the playoffs. So I think we'll take care of business. But this Devils team is good. You're adding a player like Timo Meier to that top 6. Those top 6 forwards are really good in New Jersey, and they have all the confidence in the world right now. Vanacek's playing well in net. They struggle a little on the back end, but it's a good team. Definitely not overlooking them.
Yeah, like we've been saying all year, we've all kind of been trashing on the Devils for their veteran reasons and whatnot. So I don't think Timo Meier helps too much, but he definitely adds a lot more skill and offense to a team that has a lot of it already. So if one of these better veteran teams, older teams, isn't ready to go come playoff time, they could definitely get stunned by a team that can put the puck in the back of the net. I'm still not sold on their goaltenders, and I think they'll give some people fits in the playoffs as they can put up goals in bunches. But yeah, I think they got Meyer for a few more years too, or they don't have him just for this season, right?
No, I don't think it's a rental. I think he's still under contract. I don't think it's just a rental.
Yeah, I don't know what his contract is.
A young team. I don't think the Devils are done just this season. I don't think that's a fluke. I think they're going to be in the Metros. A lot of those other teams age out. So definitely a great move. Eager to see how he fits in. A lot of other skilled lefties on that team. So I know that he plays on the wing and in the middle. So eager to see how their lineup shakes out. But it'll be fun to watch for sure. But I still think that they get bounced out by one of the better teams out there. Mainly the Rangers or the Hurricanes.
The first of many trades here that we'll review tonight, but very good pickup here for the Devils. That we will see what happens here for the wild card race and such in the Eastern or the Metro division. Next up, we got the New York Rangers acquired star winger Patrick Kane from the Chicago Blackhawks in exchange for a conditional 2023 second-round pick and a 2023 fourth-round pick. The Arizona Coyotes are also involved in the deal and will be retaining a portion of Kane's $10.5 million salary to help the Rangers fit him under the cap, according to ESPN. I believe it's Arizona's taken like 50% and then 25 and 25 or whatever. And I don't know, there might be a player involved or something somewhere. I don't know. Big deals. They're all getting these 3-team deals and these 4-team deals. They get so confusing and it's just a lot to deal with. Mackie,
the NHL ones are great. Yeah, these NHL trades are crazy. They're just giving Arizona half of his payroll just so we can have him for the season. It doesn't really make sense to me, but whatever. We got him. Yeah. This offseason was huge for the Rangers. We grabbed Tarasenko. We grabbed Kane. We're just building up for this for these playoffs, these hard fought playoffs. This team head to toe is, in my opinion, a top 3 roster in the NHL. We don't really have any weak points if everyone's playing to their game. Shesterkin's been a little off recently, but I'm not really worried about him. I think he'll figure it out. And then we have some of the best D pairs in the league. I know Miller and Fox are just definitely a top 3 D pair in the league. Absolutely unbelievable. But this could be good for us. This could be really good. I thought we were gonna get Kane in last offseason, and when we didn't, I was very disappointed. I thought we were gonna have a down year, but this team's playing really well, and Chris Drury's just an unbelievable GM. He basically gave up a bag of pucks for both Vlad Tarasenko and Patty Kane. So we'll see what we can do with this. Our top 3 lines are just incredible on paper. So if they can produce, I have no worries going into these playoffs.
Before I get started on my take about this Kaner move, it's pretty funny. Jesse talked about the Coyotes being involved in this deal. I don't know if you've guys seen the post about their legendary Mount Rushmore they have of guys with Chris Pronger and Pavel Datsyuk and Patrick Kane and Shea Weber all being dealt to them in one way or another, but never actually playing for them. So I just think
it's like the funny list of Coyotes players that they've paid but never played.
Exactly. So that's always funny to see. Tough franchise out there. That's why they're playing in Mullet Arena, wherever it is. But back to the Rangers. Patrick Kane, one of my favorite players in the NHL. Always has been an American hero nonetheless. But it's tough to see him go to the New York Rangers, especially a team we'll be vying for the Cup with this year. But great move by them. We all knew it was going to get done. We just didn't know when and how. And the Rangers really forced their hand. And Drury, who himself was a great player and now a great organizational manager, he's doing the right things, getting Tarasenko and Kane. I mean, they're really looking for that depth and veteran experience and some winning experience that the Rangers have been lacking. So can't fault them for what they did, and they got it done perfectly. Rangers fans should be ecstatic about this. I still don't think it puts them over the top to get through the Hurricanes. That team, my preseason pick besides the Bruins. So I still think they're very stacked. I know that the Bruins and Rangers and all these other teams are making a lot of moves, but the Canes were stacked coming into the season, so that's no easy foe. And they still have to get through those pesky Devils at first, but I think they will, and I think Patrick Kane's going to be putting up goals in bunches, reunited with Artemi Panarin and the Breadman. It's going to be fun to watch, definitely out there, and for the boys up in New York.
I'll tell you what, the Rangers' path to a Stanley Cup this year is going to have to go through the Devils, the Canes, and most likely the Bruins.
What about the Pittsburgh Penguins?
Yeah, and the Penguins. That's what I forgot about them. No, they need to figure it out sooner or later. Actually, no, they're on two game winning streak right now, right?
We're doing all right, yeah. As of 2-game winning streak, whatever. But if we don't make a deal by Friday, I don't know.
You guys have the deal that we have to talk about soon. I'm excited to talk about that one. That was a good move.
I said last week I might have a different stance on the Penguins going in. I said, talk to me next week. I said we have a big couple of games coming up. We went 3-1 in those games. Obviously got wiped by Edmonton on home ice. That's the one we were there for. But on a 3-game win streak this weekend, it's been a good couple of games here. But I think, Jesse, who do we got tomorrow? I think it's Tampa Bay. It's obviously going to be a big one in Tampa Bay. But we got back on the right foot. Jari's got his feet back under him. Made a great game last night in Nashville. The team rallied. We were down 1-0. Crosby tied it on a breakaway, and then we end up winning 3-1, covering the -1.5 in the last 7 seconds of the game. Brian Russ had one of the craziest empty netters I've ever seen. He was falling, and the puck dribbled. I don't know if you saw it. It was on the NHL's Instagram, but it was a pretty sick goal. Penguins, they've played good the past week, and I'm going to say it again. Talk to me in another week. They've been playing good. If we can keep stringing together a couple of wins, I think we're going to be one of those wildcard teams for sure, like I said last week.
Yeah, Jesse, I actually was wrong about that point. I must have read it somewhere. I thought that the Penguins got Besser, but it must be that they're in on Besser and JT Miller out of Vancouver, and those would both be great ads if they really want to make a run this year.
Yeah, you scared me. I'm like, what did I miss?
We've been in the conversation for JT Miller for the past couple of years. I feel like that's kind of
that name's always
I've been
floating
hearing
around.
that over and over. Yeah, it's always kind of floating around. I don't know. I think he might be from here. I don't want to quote myself on that. I can look that up, but he's been in the trade talks to come here for the past couple of years. But I would really like Besser. That'd be a great move.
Yeah, either one. I mean, especially nabbing off those Canucks who have nothing to play for.
Yeah, if you guys can get Besser, then that changes my outlook on you guys massively.
He grew up in East Palestine, Ohio.
Who, JT Miller?
I don't think that's far. I
thought he was a Philly guy.
It's only 100 miles and change.
No way.
as the crow
East
flies.
Palestine? That's so weird.
And that's where that terrible train wreck was. So
it's literally right outside
wait.
of Youngstown. His home team is technically the Penguins.
I didn't keep reading. Miller played several ice hockey teams up to the age of 5 through 12 before ending up with the Pittsburgh Hornets from age 12 to 16 as the time his parents were living in the Pittsburgh suburbs of Coriopolis. That's where I live.
I knew he was from here, or at least
I
some
thought he was a
part
Philly
from-
guy.
Yeah, he lived a couple years here. That's crazy. All right, that was good. That was good.
Besser. Can we get both of them? Is that an option or no? That's like a one or the other kind of thing. You're here. I haven't heard either of those.
Either way.
We're running out of time.
I heard they're
Yeah,
going
it's 2
back
days.
and forth. But
Could be
Besser
interesting.
is always on the market. So
Could be
Good luck.
interesting.
I wanted Chikrin.
Yeah, I wanted him to. We'll get to
But,
that here
I mean,
shortly.
if we can get one of those guys from Vancouver, that's a great move. I agree.
All right, let's jump into this next trade. I don't know how to say his last name right. It's like Jano.
Jano?
What is it?
Oh, Tanner Janot.
Jano? Is it literally Jano?
Janot.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. Next one I got here. Tanner Jano sent from Nashville to Tampa for a boatload of picks. The Tampa Bay Lightning trading for a second-year Nashville Predator forward on Sunday for defenseman Cal Foote, their third, fourth, and fifth round picks in the 2023 draft, a second-round pick in 2024, and a projected 2025 first-round pick. What do we think? Another rally in the playoffs here for them. Nashville, I think, absolutely rebuilding now. But what do you guys think, Ace?
Yeah, so this is kind of crazy to me. I mean, we talk about the powerhouse in the East and all these teams making moves and jumping on the scene, but who's always there year in and year out? The Tampa Bay Lightning. And look what they're doing again. They're hanging around that spot to play the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round, and the path looks the same as it always does for them. And what do? Add another depth piece, solid bottom six forward here in Janot. And they sent a lot of assets away, but that means they have their eyes on a run, so that's one team we can't count out with me looking at this move, at least. Janot, good player. Predators really throwing in the towel there. Grabbing a lot of picks for him, though, so great move.
I was going to say my takeaway from this whole move is Nashville obviously picked up Tanner Janot as an undrafted free agent and bringing in all those picks and that kind of return for an undrafted guy. What a move by, I don't know if it was David Poile that made this move. I know he is retiring at the end of the season or it was effective immediately, but He's been a all-time GM in the NHL, and over the past 25 years, I think he's been in Nashville. And I did say I don't think they're a playoff team this year, but I think with all these picks they keep getting, they're going to be a team to watch out for over the next couple of seasons with a young elite goaltender in net and Saros, and you still got guys like Yossi, and if they can bring in a couple of goal scorers here and there, they've always been a team that kind of just plugs in a really good team's second line winger goes to Nashville and is a first line player, and they usually end up making the playoffs. I think they have a streak of past 7 years they've been in the playoffs, so consistency down in Nashville, and I think that stems down from the front office on. But a move like this where you can trade an undrafted player for that many picks, I mean, props to the front office for that one. Nashville, I think the future is looking bright for them, but not necessarily this year.
All right, boys, good stuff there. Let's jump into some news for the Bruins here. They acquired defenseman Dmitry Orlov and Fournette Hathaway from the Washington Capitals in a 3-team trade that also included the Minnesota Wild. Some plays and picks involved in this, but does this give the Bruins more of a punch to keep it going here with their already very impressive season? Ace, let's send it over to you again here for your Bruins.
Yeah, I mean, 2 great moves for a team that's already deep enough, in my opinion, and they really got rid of the right pieces and got the right salary retained to have the ability to make another move, which I'm excited to see, as we know that Sweeney's not done. I mean, he's not. This is really just a time to take a glimpse at what Sweeney's done the last few years, especially coming into this season. He added Lindholm and inked him at the deadline last year, added Taylor Hall. He brought back Krejci. He brought in Forbert. He brought in Pavel Zacha for Eric Halla, and now he's bringing in Orlov and Hathaway. So Allmark brought in that time too. So all these pieces they brought in for giving up not very much, really making our team have depth. And Orlov showing up the last 2 nights. He had 5 points in the last 2 games on this West Coast trip. That's a great defenseman to add to the mix. Another size guy with experience and championship pedigree. And then Hathaway adding some nasty to that 4th line and a veteran presence. So I already thought they had enough. Love to see this move. I feel like we're going to be talking about the Bruins a lot in the coming weeks. So don't need to say too much more, but I like what they're doing. I'm excited to see if they do something else. But the plethora of defensemen is always a good thing to have on a playoff team.
Yeah, and we saw the immediate impact of, what was it, last night, or when we had the Bruins and he had the 2 goals, or was that against the Oilers?
No, 2 nights ago against the Oilers, he had 2 assists and they won 3-2. Last night, he had 2 goals and 1 assist in a 4-3 overtime.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've seen the immediate impact, and like you said, Bruins are just kind of gearing up for a cup run here. So I didn't see this move coming. I thought that was a great move for them, especially like you said, Hathaway was kind of just like a throw-in player. He's going to be great on your guys' 3rd, 4th line, any bottom 6 player like that. So I like this move for the Bruins.
Yeah, the depth is just crazy. I mean, you have Hoyle, Hall, and Frederick on your 3rd line. That's crazy. And then you go Hathaway, Foligno, Nosek as your 4th line. That's a playoff roster, and yeah, it's just happy to see get it for a cheap return, so not giving up too much in the process, but it's going to be exciting down the stretch. I don't know if you guys saw any of those goals by Orlov last night. The second one, that 1T bomb off the faceoff. I mean, Bergeron's Mr. Selke, and he wins every faceoff. With Marchand and Pastrnak and McAvoy or Lindholm that he's played with his whole career, they have so many crazy faceoff plays that they score for goals that I watch night in and night out. And they had this brand new one where they had a left-handed defenseman on the right point on the end zone faceoff, and then the other left-handed defenseman off in the middle, and he just set it up for one time. Bergeron won it right to him, offset, wide open. I've never seen that before, and it's just another crazy play. Great piece, but great ad. Nothing like Patrick Kane, but definitely someone that fits the system well.
Yeah, well, you guys didn't need to really add a Patrick Kane. You guys just got some role players, got some pieces to fill in some spots, and you're just building that team up to basically be a super team at this point.
It's the whole East. Super teams out East.
Yeah.
The Bruins adding to their impressive season here yet again with Orlov. So we'll see where they end up come the playoffs. Let's rip through a couple more of these, starting off with the Vegas Golden Knights have acquired forward Ivan Barbashev from the St. Louis Blues in exchange for prospect forward Zach Dean. Interesting pick there. Next up, the Toronto Maple Leafs continue to add to their NHL trade deadline by acquiring defenseman Jake McCabe and forward Sam Lafferty, as well as a conditional 5th-round draft choice in both the 2024 and the 2025 drafts from the Chicago Blackhawks. Blackhawks just shaving off more there as the trade deadline approaches. Next, the Edmonton Oilers have acquired defenseman Matthias Ekholm from the Nashville Predators. The Predators will receive blue liner Tyson Barrie, prospect Reed Schaefer, and the 1st-round pick in the 2023 NHL draft, and a 4th-round selection in the 2023 draft as well. Ace, you got anything on this one?
Yeah, the Oilers are really dipping into the trade market. I know they were looking for a left defenseman. Matthias Ekholm fills that role perfectly. He's been to a Stanley Cup, but not won one with the Nashville Predators, and been a mainstay on that defensive blue line behind Roman Josi. And I knew they were in the market for Gavrikov or maybe Chychrun or Orlov or somebody, and it ended up being him. So I think that's a great move. The Oilers always struggle in the playoffs with keeping guys out. That's some gritty, tough hockey right there by Ekholm. Will give you big minutes night in and night out. Be able to match up with those teams out west, especially for this Oilers team that's looking to get over the hump and make its first Stanley Cup with McDavid.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you just kind of have to go all in for McDavid. He's having the season of his career, and just looks like he's going to go up from here. He's just absolutely ridiculous, and he's really showing it this year. He's 7 years into the league, so he's got to do something sooner or later. It's going to tarnish his legacy if he doesn't. So yeah, if I'm the Oilers, I'm just doing everything I can to just make this guy happy and get him all the pieces he needs to make that Stanley Cup run.
Yeah, the Predators just shaving off a little more there as well. And the Oilers getting a big pick, or a solid defenseman there. Let's move on to our next one. The Los Angeles Kings have acquired defenseman Vladislav Gavrikov and goaltender Jonas Korpisalo from the Columbus Blue Jackets in exchange for a 2023 first-round draft pick, a 2023 third-round draft pick, and goaltender Jonathan Quick. The Kings parting ways with Jonathan Quick after many seasons playing there. He having some of his best seasons there. What do we think about this one? Ace, you want to get us going?
Yeah, Mac, you think Korpisalo, he's definitely going in there to take that starting job, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna go in there, guns blazing and shit. I'm assuming, but I don't know. It's not very easy to take a spot from a guy who's 18-4-1. Copley, however you want to say it, Copley. He's been getting the job done, and Korpisalo is definitely a good piece to add. Quick's done. That was you needed somebody else in there, but
great career with the Kings. So let's say that.
Yeah, they have a really nice goalie tandem now. The Korpisalo is definitely a competitor, and he's going to try to win that starting spot. But Copley's very good too, so we'll see what ends up happening there. But Kings got something good going over there now.
You know what's crazy is, remember a couple, months ago now at this point, the start of the NHL season, when they cut, what was his name, Cal Peterson?
Yep.
Yeah.
We were all like amazed by that, and then we didn't even know about this Copley guy. Obviously, we were assuming Quick was going to step in there. This Phoenix Copley guy's come out of nowhere. And like you said, Mackie, 18-4. Now you get a tandem of Korpisalo and Copley. I really like what the Kings have going there. I agree.
I think the Kings as a playoff team, I really think Korpisalo is going to get the lion's share of the net, and he's going to take over if he can stay healthy. He's a great goaltender, and he's burnt us on the card a few nights, actually.
Good stuff there. Quick ending up with the Blue Jackets there in Columbus. Let's jump over to this next one. Also on the East Coast, the Washington Capitals continuing to retool Wednesday, trading forward Lars Eller to the Colorado Avalanche for a 2025 second-round draft choice. The Capitals will retain 31% of Eller's $3.5 million salary cap hit. Just crazy, all this salary cap retention stuff. But what do you guys think about this one? Lars Eller to the Avalanche.
Good depth add for the Avalanche. We already know that it's going to be their top guns up there. But nice to see them grabbing another guy for the bottom of the lineup who's won a Stanley Cup, been in the league for a while, and will help out their bottom six for sure.
Not much else there. And our final trade that I think we're going to review here is the Ottawa Senators have acquired defenseman Jacob Chychrun from the Arizona Coyotes in exchange for a conditional first-round pick in 2023, a conditional second-round pick in 2024, and a second-round pick in 2026. Chychrun to the Senators for a handful of picks. Mackie, why don't you get us started on this one?
Yeah, I don't know the most about this guy, but just the Senators team in general. I mean, they're sitting right outside. There's a lot of teams out there, so I'm not going to say they're sitting right outside that wild card spot, but they really are only a few points out, and they're on a nice little streak right now. Those top players on that team, DeBrincat, Stutzel, Kachuk, they're all just really stepping up right now. They're making a run, and like I said in the beginning of the season, I was completely wrong, Ace, about who they would be going up against, but I did say that they would probably be fighting for that last wild card spot, and they're really coming together. That team's really figuring it out. Those big players are stepping up, and let's see what they could do. They definitely got something going in the next few years for that team.
Are they really in the hunt?
Yeah, they're like 3 points out.
Really? I didn't see that coming. When I first saw this move, I thought it was more towards next year, because I think he's still going to be under contract. Jacob Chychrun, a guy you see in the trade deadline news, like I feel like year in and year out, and he finally finds his way out of Arizona. But good spot to land. A lot of young pieces there. I still think the Senators are a year or two away from being a very good team, led by the young Brady Tkachuk. Likes to run his mouth. If you saw him taking on the whole other team the other night, I forget who was playing. I think the Red Wings. But yeah, great ad there. Could put them over the top and put them over the hump to get to the playoffs. But I think he's going to be a good piece on that defensive blue line for years to come, especially with Thomas Chabot too already. I know they have goaltending issues, but that can only help out. And that young guy, Mad Sogard's kind of come onto the scene a little bit. So it's a decent team up there in Ottawa. A lot of skill, and they add this guy for a boatload of picks. And when you have that many young players, you don't really need to hold on to those picks. I know they have like Pinto and everybody else, Stutzel, Kachuk, Chychrun now. I mean, not a lot of age up there. Giroux, the only one. So eager to see what they can put together. I know Huff's a little salty that his Pens didn't go out and grab this defenseman, but the price seemed pretty high.
Yeah, I think that's what the ultimate deterrent was away from Hextall jumping on him. I would have liked to have him being a 6'2" left-handed defenseman. That's exactly what I think the Penguins are looking for. But when the price is a little too high, you gotta, make the decision yourself on if it's worth it. Clearly, the Penguins decided to move on from it. But like we said, I had no clue about this Brock Besser, JT Miller news. I knew about JT Miller, like I said, I've been hearing that for 3 years, but I want Besser. Fuck Jacob Chychrun. Go to Ottawa and worry about yourself in 3 years. Like you said, I don't see much coming out of this Ottawa team for the next 2 or 3 years. But, yeah, I'm all over. I don't know. I wanted him, but like I said, the price was too high. It's too high.
With these guys coming from out west in these small markets on these bad teams, I mean, we saw this with Hampus Lindholm last year coming to the Bruins, and he turned into a top 25, top 20 defenseman now. Do you think Chychrun has the potential to jump into that next big group? I know that his name's been linked to a lot of places as being a stud, but do you think he can get to that top 25, top 20 defenseman range?
Yeah, I was going to say, going from a team like Arizona, I think going to a team like Ottawa where you have a bunch of other young skill players around you, like a Brady Tkachuk, a Pinto, and then they have veterans like Giroux to lead the team and stuff like that. I don't know how long he'll be there, but I think it's a good fit for him in Ottawa. I do think he'll strive there.
Yeah, I'll be excited to watch as this playoff wildcard race heats up. I know that we want to talk about that a bit as well. That's probably our last point on the NHL. We don't have other trades, do we? Trade deadline's Thursday or Friday. For some reason, I thought it was March 1st, but it's March.
No, it's the 3rd. Oh yeah, that is in 2 days. I'm an idiot. I was thinking today was Monday for some reason.
I went to a P. Bruins game the other day while we wait for Jesse to get back, and Mike
P.
Riley
Bruins.
was playing for the. Yeah, Mike Riley was playing for the Providence Bruins, and I was like, he would be good on some Huff. Like your Penguins could use Mike Riley, literally. He's good.
I feel like the Bruins farm team right now, with how much depth you guys, is probably so sick. Are they?
Yeah, it's fucking retarded. There's so many like NHL players there. Chris Wagner, Mike Riley. They have like Oscar Steen. Then we have like that top prospect of Sean. Then like Locko, other guys that have been on our fourth line this year already. So it was fun to watch.
Yeah, I did see you were there. That did look sweet.
Malcolm
Subban
Subban was on that. I think they were
close to
playing.
him, were you?
Yeah. Everything's close for Rhode Island. It's like everything's like 30 minutes away. But
everything's close.
it is. No, but Malcolm Subban was in
Think
that
about
too.
it.
Isn't that the Rangers farm team?
Who?
Malcolm Subban.
He's on the Rangers farm team.
Isn't that the Rangers farm team? The Americans.
I used to be the Wolfpack. I don't know if it still is.
Rochester Americans, I think.
Dude, I don't know. I can't tell you.
It was Malcolm Subban though. I was like, that's kind of cool. He used to be.
Is it? No, that's probably Buffalo. I'm pretty sure ours is the Wolfpack.
Yeah, it says he
It
plays
is the
for Buffalo.
Wolfpack. Yeah, it is the
Okay.
Wolfpack. Make me second guess myself.
Well, their logo, they're red, white, and blue, and called the
Yeah.
Americans. I'm like, oh, that's got to be the Rangers farm team. You can.
Yeah, you would think that, but no. Why would they? Why would they make it that simple?
Yeah. But no. I think Jesse, we're just gonna go to the wild card.
Alrighty, lots of trades happening here in the NHL, as we've said. Again, the deadline here on Friday, like I keep saying. But let's jump into this wild card race in the Eastern Conference. Let me go over it real quick. The current two teams as of today, if the playoffs started today, in the playoff spots are the New York Islanders with 70 points and the Penguins with 69 points. I'm going to go down the list here because it is a I think Ace just said, a 7-team race for the wild card in the East. Next up, the Sabres, 66 points, Panthers, 66, Senators, 64, Red Wings, 64, and the Capitals, 64. A daringly close race. Jeez. All right. Who wants to start us off with this one?
Yeah, I can get us going on here. We've seen a lot of movement in these past few weeks on these 17s, but it's really getting down to just every single game. You have to win every single game, and you're playing. What did I just say? Ottawa played Detroit 2 games in a row. I think back-to-back days, and we had Detroit in the first of the back-to-back, and they won both of them, and now they're sitting in the same spot. They're sitting at the same amount of points in that division, and it's just getting really close down to the wire. I really like the Senators team, and they're adding some players. I know I said I liked the Panthers last week, but they just haven't. Even in the last week, they just haven't performed how I thought that they would. I just think they're going to fall off a little bit. I still like the Sabres. The Sabres are sitting there. They're sitting pretty with 66 points. They have the game. They have only 59 games played, opposed to everyone else, which is over 60. I don't know. It's getting really close. Ace, what do you think about this?
I think we need to find a place where we can get some lines on who's going to make these bubble spots, because that'd be a pretty cool thing to look at. But I can't go with the Sabres here. I think that the young team's going to falter down the stretch. I love the Panthers. I think I still like them to squeak in at the 8th spot just because of the talent on that roster, but their goaltending issues and Spencer Knight stepping away from the game, not a lot going on in the right direction for the Panthers there down in Florida. The Penguins, I do think they get in. If I'm going to bounce anybody out of that playoffs to not be the Panthers, it's going to be the Islanders and the Penguins. They've been there before. They've done it. That Capitals team is selling. We saw them get rid of Orlov, Hathaway, Eller, and I think a few others. Yeah, Sabres too young. It's going to be a 3-team race for me, really. Even though on paper it's not. But it's the Pens, the Isles, and the Panthers for me. 3 best teams. Those are the teams that can actually make a legitimate run in the playoffs as well, in my opinion. So I think that they have time to make some moves if they need to, and that would help them get over the top. Huff, I know you're probably leaning with your Penguins too, but who do you think comes out of this mess?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I lean Penguins and Islanders. I said that last week. I actually think the Penguins are in a position where they could pass up the Islanders, and we had 2 huge games against them 2 weeks ago where we went 0-2. We do see the Islanders on home ice next week. So I said the Penguins are in Tampa Bay tomorrow night. After that, they go to Florida on Saturday, and then they're home for 5 straight against the Blue Jackets, Islanders, Flyers, Rangers, and Canadians. So I like to think, obviously, 5 games at home. You go at least 3-2, you're picking up points. If they can pick up points in those losses, maybe against a Rangers team or an Islanders team, if they struggle with one of those elite goaltenders, I really think the Penguins could be looking at growing this 3-game win streak if they can get past Tampa Bay. I'm looking, like I said, Florida, or like you said, Florida's kind of been on the downhill slide the past week or so. And I think if maybe the Penguins make a move come Friday, I think I could be talking about the Penguins as maybe a 7, like whatever that top wild card spot's going to be. So let me ask you this. You guys understand how these seedings work a little better than I do. So if the Penguins sneak in and as that top wild card spot, who are they going to play?
The team with the most points in either.
No, the first wild card, like the
Yep.
Oh, they'll play Carolina. So the number one team that has the most points. So both the number one
plays
teams in the
8
division,
seed, and then the other division winner plays the 7 seed.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. And then they play
Okay.
each other, and then the
And then
winners.
the other divisional brackets play each other.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like, if the Rangers beat the Devils, they have to play assuming the
It
Canes
doesn't-
win, they
it
have to
doesn't
play the
reseed.
Canes.
It doesn't reseed. It stays on
Yeah.
your side. Atlantic,
Uh-huh.
Metro, and then you add the wild cards. Top wild card plays the lower.
See, that's
of
where I
the
get
division
confused.
leaders.
When they were did you say it doesn't reseed?
Does not.
Okay.
What
For
I
some
think
reason,
they
I thought
should
it did.
do, I think it's so dumb how they keep it in division. I think that the 3 seed in the Met should play the 2 seed in the Atlantic, and the 3 seed in the Atlantic should play the 2 seed in the Met. I don't know why you're sitting there giving them divisional matchups when you play the divisional teams 9 times in a season.
Because
Like,
they
it-
want rivalries on
It's
TV.
better hockey.
allegedly.
Yeah, they want the rivalry.
Allegedly.
Okay. For that, that's the only reason though. I don't like that at all. I think
I
that
like
they should
1
be able to
through
play
8.
What?
we grew
I
up,
also
1
like 1
through
through 8. Yeah, we had that. It was working so well. Why are you switching it up?
Gary Bettman.
Yeah, it's not like they changed the format and they added a 9th team. It's still 8 teams make the playoffs. Like why? I don't
It
understand
was
why they went away
literally
from the 1
to.
through
It
8.
was to create rivalries.
No, it's also to make sure that
That's exactly what
enough
it was. They just
enough
keep
teams
things
on
in the
each division are going. Enough teams on each division are actually going to make it in. So
That's
it's not
what I
like
agree
6
with
teams in
Mackie.
one division making it and 2 in another division making it.
Mhm.
Like, you're guaranteed at least 3 teams now.
I also think. I mean, I like 1 through 8 because you get the best 8 teams. I don't care. I could care less if 7 make it from one team, one division, and 1 makes it from another. Like, I want to see the best team.
Yeah, but the ratings care, and that's literally the only thing that makes sense.
It's like in football, everyone talks about you win your division, do you get a home playoff game? It's like, and then you see a 7-win team get a home playoff game, and you're like, this team does not deserve this against like the team they're playing. Like, I mean, we're kind of done with football, but yeah, the Cowboys. I was just gonna say that, but
Yeah, getting back on this wild card hunt. I know you guys are sitting in that second wild card spot right now, but you can basically say that you're the number 1 wild card team right now. You're 1 point behind the Islanders with 4 games under your belt, so
exactly. That's why I said that.
you're basically the first seed in the wild card right now, assuming you get 1 point in your next 4 games, which I assume you will. But yeah, the Islanders have played a shit ton of games. They've played at least 2 games over every other team, and they've played 5 more than the Sabres. So I mean, we're sitting 25 games out, something like that, 23 games out. There could be a lot of movement into these teams.
I'm gonna stick with my take of Penguins Islanders.
My new take is going to be Penguins Sabres, and I'm going to stick with that now.
Penguins, Isles. Hate both of them. So, like to see first round.
I think those are all good predictions.
Who would you... Ace, here's a question, since you're actually probably going to have to deal with this. Who would you want to see out of, say those 4 teams, the top 4 teams?
Who do I want to see the most?
Yeah.
The Sabres.
Sabres.
And who would you want to see the least?
The Panthers.
Okay, so the 2 teams that you think are going to make it fall in between there?
Mm.
Yeah, I'd say as a Rangers fan, the Islanders are the last team I want to see there, but that's just because they always beat the shit out of us.
The Islanders can't score enough goals to beat the Bruins.
Sorokin can definitely steal a game or 2 though.
Yeah, the Bruins have handled them this year, and when we lost them in the playoffs a few years ago, it's because we got beaten up, and we're a much bigger team now, and our defensive core is much better. The Islanders, I'm not afraid of. The Penguins, I think we match up every strength they have. We have the same, and then we go down the lineup and it's stronger in their goaltending issues. I think if Bob plays well, I know he sucks in the playoffs sometimes. In that the Panthers just have the most firepower, really. I think that's what the Bruins have. The only way they lose is if they give up 6 goals, so I think they can put up a lot of offense, so I don't want to see the Panthers. And the Sabres, I think any team would handle.
Alrighty, boys. Good stuff out of the NHL. Again, that wild card race heating up. Lots of good stuff to talk about there in the coming weeks. Let's shift our focus over to the NBA. A couple points here, and maybe we'll review some standings and such. The first one here, Damian Lillard scores a career-high 71 points against the Rockets on Sunday night en route to a 131-114 win. This is his third time this season surpassing 50 points and second time surpassing 60. Big feat there, 3 times over 50 points this season. Very impressive for Damian Lillard. Anything on that?
Yeah, obviously we've heard, crazy stats about Lillard all throughout his whole career, and really doesn't mean much until he decides he wants to leave Portland. So, he can keep breaking all these crazy records. He's the leading scorer in Trailblazers history. All that stuff's cool, but you don't got a ring, dude.
I'm on the other side of the coin there, Huff. Did you see the quote he had the other day after he played against Russell Westbrook?
I did, and that actually made me think a lot about, does it work often?
The grass isn't always greener on the other side.
But it more often than times, if you pick the...
Not really, Huff. Think about it.
Think about the ring chasers. Who won besides KD going to the Warriors?
And KD went to a super team. Kawhi got traded, so it's different. But
Lillard could do that.
That's what we said about
Lillard can do what?
Too, though, coming off an MVP season.
Just go join any team. It's the NBA. These guys can join any team they want to.
But...
I respect
so
close.
I don't know if Lillard has that pull to say I want to go here and he can go there. There's maybe 4 players that can do that.
You have a much shorter leash on the road too, and you're a veteran that's been there in the league for so long, and everything changes. It's not as easy as it seems, especially in old age. I like that he stays home. I'm a big fan
at this
of
point,
loyalty.
He's their hero. He should never leave there, I think. At this point,
he's a hero, but literally only in Portland. And you can either be okay with that or you can...
How often do I watch Trailblazers games? I hear about...
Exactly.
I love Dame. I think he's a great player, electric point guard, clutch shooter. I've seen all the crazy playoff moments. But, other than the first round of playoffs, I don't watch that many regular season Trailblazer games. I see all these crazy stats he puts up. But I'd like to see him in a bigger market.
Huff, did you see his freestyles in their delay on a bus the other day or a plane?
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, he's a dog for that. I love Dame Dollar. Does the 3-point shot. He yams the ball, plays all around, big energy, Dame time. Can't beat that. So definitely fun to watch. Happy for him to get 70. Eager to see what he can do with this team down the stretch.
Yeah, very impressive feat for him. But a big comeback happening here in the NBA. The Los Angeles Lakers overcame a 27-point deficit to defeat the Dallas Mavericks 111-108 on Sunday, completing the largest comeback in NBA this season. LeBron coming out with a foot injury in this matchup, supposedly will miss extended time. What do you guys think about this one?
Yeah, I had the Mavericks in this one, -4. I was texting Mackie throughout the whole first half when the Mavericks were up about 20. They were flirting 25, I think, at one point. And then it got down to 15, and then it was 10. And then I knew I was going to lose whenever I turned it on, and it was tied. But, you got to do what you got to do. Kyrie and the Mavs just haven't really been getting it done lately.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong, Huff. And the tough thing is, though, those Lakers came back with LeBron and AD and whatnot, and then we have them here tonight on the card without LeBron and AD and Russell.
Without either of them.
Yeah, it's tough. It's going to be tough for this Lakers team that's on the outside looking in. I think they're in the play-in tournament, and they need to put wins together. So LeBron going down right now is not the best news that they've had of the season. So I'm eager to see how they stick around. I know they've been playing good basketball. I know Mackey's liked them lately. You want to talk about that a bit, Mackey?
While we're on the topic of Anthony Davis, did anyone see the video of him playing 2K as himself and he got hurt?
No.
Yeah, when he blocked the guy and came down and he's holding his ankle.
I was crying watching that video. Him just watching himself as a video game player roll around on the ground. He's realizing, holy shit, this
I
is
saw
super
that
real.
that was to die for.
That couldn't have
That is
happened
so
in
funny.
a better time.
But, yeah, we heard LeBron say about 2 weeks ago this is the most important 25, 26 games of his life, which is crazy considering he's had a...
It's still the funniest thing LeBron's ever said.
Yeah.
He said
he's
some
had a
dumb
20-year
shit.
career. But in all honesty, this is really taking a toll on his legacy these last few seasons, and people are people just seem to forget what he's done, but they are really important. He needs to get to the playoffs. He can't be missing the playoffs with a team that he has Anthony Davis on, and I guess they really have nothing else. But he's living up to his word, is what I'm getting at. They're 3-1 since he said that. I think they're sitting in a playing spot right now too. But I don't know. I really like this Lakers team coming down the stretch. I think LeBron's going to be able to get it done. It's a lot different team than it was a week and a half ago. They made a lot of moves. Yeah, I like this Lakers team. I like them to get into the play-in tournament and have a spot to actually get into the playoffs.
Yeah, tough one there for you, Huff, having Mavs -4. The Lakers making that big comeback. Next up, we have the Charlotte Hornets. Point guard LaMelo Ball fractured his right ankle in Monday's game against the Detroit Pistons. The team announced he will miss the rest of the regular season with this injury.
Hornets are terrible, so it really doesn't matter that. But hopefully he gets better. Just take the year off. He'll be back. He'll be good.
Another injury for LaMelo. You hate to see that young star in the league.
Yeah, at least it's not coming at important times when he's making a playoff push or something.
Yeah, he'll bounce back and have some down the stretch, I'm sure.
But yeah, like Mackie said, they're not the best team. I mean, he's obviously the guy down there. You hate to see it. Good player, like Ace said. Yeah, it's looking like they're going to be without him for the rest of the year. So Hornets are looking to the future. I feel like we hear that. That's kind of the narrative down in Charlotte. We'll see what they can do next year.
Alrighty, I think that's just going to about do it for everything we got here this week. Some news in the NFL, NBA, NHL Trade Deadline. Lots to look forward to in the coming weeks, so make sure you tune in each and every week. That's all I got. Anything else, guys?
Yeah, that's going to do it for me. Like usual, make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening at. Leave a like, review, comment, repost, share, whatever you kids do nowadays. We appreciate the support. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, I said it best. See you next week.
Yeah, keep checking out those socials. You know, we got a lot coming on. March Madness, the stretch run for those NBA and NHL leagues coming. And we're eating on the daily card. Make sure you're tapping in and following the boys. See you guys next week. Go Bees.
And that's going to do it for us on this episode of Hit the Books. Thank you to everyone who tunes in each and every week. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do here. So please like, share, and subscribe wherever you can. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for our plays each and every night in the NHL, NFL, MLB, NBA, college basketball, and college football. Thank you again, and see you next week.